what else do you do? I'm just a teacher. What am I going to do next? When I started doing this and started looking for this next set, I put out applications everywhere. Teachers, we have this mindset you have to stay in education. I'm originally from the state of Virginia. I taught there my entire career, 30 years. Most of those years, I was a classroom teacher. I taught second, third, and fourth grade. And then it was probably about a year 21 when I started feeling a little bit burnt out on what I was doing. But really, my thought was, what else do you do? I'm just a teacher. What am I going to do next? So I stuck with it. I also had it in my mindset that I had to stay until year 30. And so I did it about year 26. I transitioned out of my own classroom and became an instructional coach in Virginia Beach, working with classroom teachers and helping them use technology. And then COVID hit, and that was very stressful for even the tech teachers. But about year 29, I started looking at what's going to come next. And I remember putting in, I think I put transitioning teacher, and teacher transition came up. And I started investigating, and I clicked. And I remember the first time I went to the site, there was basically a test of what do you want to do next? And it was this little guided question and answer thing. And it started opening up roles to me. And I was like, oh, wow, I could be a trainer. Don't be afraid to invest in that future that you're going to have. I think as teachers, and this is something that I struggled with even before joining Teacher Transition and her courses, is as a teacher, sometimes I didn't have the money to spend because I spent it all on those kids. But when I started looking at things, and Teacher Transition was one of them, I decided what I was putting into educating myself would pay off, and it has paid off 100-fold. I have made more in my retirement, and I've put more into my retirement fund than I did in 30 years of teaching. And I think that's the biggest thing is I think as teachers, when we start doing this, we feel like we're on our own. And it was so helpful to talk to different educators and to be able to go one-on-one with somebody and give me advice and help basically hold my hand and say, you know what, you can do this, was huge for me, which is why I will do anything Allie ever asked me to do for her, because it was a game changer for me. Through the course I took, I had a resume writer from Teacher Transition who helped me write my first resume and then helped me know how to tweak it for specific jobs that I wanted. And she helped me do that a couple, with that resume, and gave me a couple variations. And then I learned how to do it on my own. And again, that was a huge thing to learn. And that's something else that is just part of that teacher transition that's really helpful. I have since retired. I've been retired now for 4 years. I've moved to the state of Florida, where I absolutely love being here. I'm an independent contractor or consultant. I work for several different companies. I also have opened up my own LLC called Design to Educate. Because I'm an independent contractor, I really get to choose what I want to do. That allows me to branch off in a couple new avenues as well. Everything I've done in the classroom has gotten me to the point I am today. I've worked for quite a few different companies, and this blew my mind at the time. But, teachers, we have this mindset you have to stay in education. You got to stay being a teacher. Out there in the real world, if you change companies in 2-3 years, they don't look at you like you're doing something terrible. They're like, oh, okay, thank you for working with us. Good luck in your next endeavor. So I've worked for companies like Hayes Software, which was a company that did textbook inventories and used scanners to do it. I learned how to use that software, and I trained teachers and administrators to do things like that. I've worked for ClassLink, worked for Frontline. I currently work for 3 different companies. I do Amplify Learning as a PLS, which means I go and train teachers on how to use a reading product. I work for PowerSchool in several different roles. I'm a coach, a trainer. I've written some curriculum and done some instructional design for them. And I work for Define Learning, where I'm a trainer. I'm a curriculum writer. I am their computer science science guru, which means I talk to state level superintendents and school boards and then move down to districts. So I wear a lot of different hats, which is what I absolutely love doing because I'm still in education, but I'm kind of doing it at my own speed. And then I told you I had my own company. I'm the sole proprietor of Design to Educate. And within that, one of my first little side jobs is a company called Tech TLC. And I teach senior citizens how to use their technology. I go to their rescue. So I have a lot of different things that I'm doing right now. And I get really excited. And I also have a lot of things on my own personal life I get to do because of this career path I've chosen.